G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, subscribe, and yes, you are here today because you probably know that I hate when a team kick penalty goals. And yeah, the Brumbies actually had a pretty good season this year and didn't really go for penalties as much as they did in previous years. In fact, they completely shifted away from just milking penalties and kick goals. And every week I get comments in my YouTube that says there's nothing wrong with kicking penalty goals. You don't know what you're talking about. Now, this is the perfect example in this game that penalty goal is actually a concept that is really misunderstood by a lot of people, including coaches. And this is probably one of the best examples I can use to explain to you why kicking penalty goals is not as good as people make it out to be. In a test rugby situation, this could be different, but in most times, in fact, in every time, all the time, there is actually one commodity that is more valuable than kicking a penalty goal. And that commodity is game time. It's boarding hand game time. If a team has time to play rugby, they are given opportunities to score more points than kicking for three. In fact, a team cannot, more importantly, right? A team cannot score if they don't have time with boarding hand to play rugby. That is a fact. You cannot score points if you don't have the ball. So, one of the things that a lot of teams tend to ignore when they kick a penalty, especially in the really, really good position, like inside the opposition 22, you're actually foregoing not just opportunity to score a try, but you are giving time back to the opposition to play rugby. And that exposes you to concede points on the other side of the field. And that's something a lot of people overlook. It's not just the 3 points you're taking, it's the time that you're given the opportunity in exchange for the 3 points. That is the problem. And this is the perfect example. The Brumbies had about 10 minutes left and the scoreboard was leveled. And the Brumbies needed to run that clock down more and try to score probably a try to get themselves, to secure themselves the win. Tom Wright actually made the right decision. He has been outstanding again this season, and again tonight. Actually made the right decision to not go for 3 points initially. They went for the line out, had a bit of a untidiness in the execution, did get the penalty advantage, and that's the good thing. That's what you want. You got the penalty advantage. You can go for the line out again. Nothing has changed since the previous line out you've taken, right? You're still in a kickable range for a penalty. You're inside the 22, and as long as you control the ball, don't give out silly penalties, the Crusaders has to risk themselves getting sent off potentially to try to turn the ball over. And even if they do turn the ball over, they still can't score because they have to exit their own 22 to get anywhere close to scoring a try in your half. So Tom Wright initially made the right decision to go for the 3 point, to go for the line out, and they got on the penalty, and they ran the clock down for about 2 minutes or 72 minutes on the clock, and they went, nah, let's just kick 3, guys. This is too hard. And I wrote in my comments, I'm like, watch the Crusaders turn the ball over from the kickoff and score a try from that. And sure enough, they kicked the 3, giving Crusaders 8 minutes to work with to score back at them. Crusaders gets a penalty. Sure, there was probably a knock-on leading into it, but it is done. They get a penalty. They could have kicked the 3 and leveled the score and just say, hey, let's play rugby and golden point and see who gets a drop goal. No, the Crusaders looked at the clock and said, we have about 6 minutes. We can score a try, we can run the clock down a bit more, and we can shut down, we can reduce that time for Brumbies to work against us, in the kickoff should they score a try. So they backed themselves for a try. Sure enough, nice setup. More Brumbies did well to defend them more, but what's his name? George Bell or what his name was, ran in for the try. And now suddenly it's about 2 minutes left, and Brumbies they didn't get the conversion, but Brumbies had to scramble for a penalty, and not the case to be. And it is just what it is. If the Brumbies had managed clock a bit better, run the clock down a bit more, Crusaders probably wouldn't have the opportunity to score at all from the kickoff. Even if the Brumbies run the clock down another, 4 or 5 minutes and then taken the 3, right? The Crusaders would not have had enough time to score a try from the kickoff. That's the difference. It's not just about, if the Crusaders just kicked off, right, taking the 3, right, from the kickoff themselves, following the penalty, that would have leveled the game, but it would have given the Brumbies 5 minutes to score back at them. And that is the difference. That is the difference in clock management. That is the difference in decision making. And that is why taking 3 points is not always good. In fact, I think take 3 points, you have to really control the game for a certain period of time before taking 3 points. There needs to be a time component attached to the 3. You can't just be, let's visit a 22. Oh yeah, let's make out, that's about 30 seconds. Let's take the 3. That is just not, like, that is not good. You're not applying pressure. You're not, building fatigue. You're just getting 3 points and letting the opposition playing rugby back at you. And it's, yeah, I think this will be a perfect example to try to explain to everyone what's going on here. And I do think that Brumbies should have just backed themselves at the try and not taken the 3 because they got a little bit scared. Tom Wright made the right decision. I don't know what happened in this after the first penalty was given. I think they just left too much time on the table for the Crusaders to comfortably get themselves back in front and run the clocks down themselves against the Brumbies. And yeah, now you could say that, oh, the Brumbies, if they had got the penalty right at the end there, they could have won the game. Would have been perfect. But hey, the Crusaders scored a try, pretty much immediately from the penalty. There could be a situation where Crusaders don't score for a number of penalties and Brumbies get a yellow card, and then you've got, a minute left on the clock, and you're not even going to get a kickoff. That's rugby. That's rugby, right? Just because this specific time, Brumbies had an opportunity to potentially get a penalty, and Crusaders missed the conversion as well. But the Crusaders actually made the right decisions, whereas the Brumbies did not. Even though Brumbies were actually given an opportunity to potentially win it with a penalty, the Crusaders themselves didn't land the 2 points. That was the problem. So it's not because Crusaders made the wrong decision. It's because Crusaders did not get the penalty conversion, giving the Brumbies an opportunity to win the game with a penalty at the end. Not because Crusaders made the wrong decision, leading up the Brumbies with an opportunity at the end to kick the 3 points to win the match. That's the difference. Now, I say this every week. You can, again, argue with me in the comments. And if you don't understand the concept, I can't help you. It is just what it is. So yeah, let's have a talk about the rest of the game, potentially the rest of the season. I thought the Crusaders looked, again, pretty shocking in the start of the season. They actually built and got themselves really back into the game. Compared to their last season, this was actually outstanding for the Crusaders, finishing second on the table. Even if you look at the first games, the Crusaders really didn't look that good at all. You think, considering they had a pretty poor season last season, coming into their performance this week, again, you think that the Crusaders, coming into following the first few rounds from the Crusaders' performance, you think that they probably gonna have another struggling season, but nah, they actually built, and I think Rob Penny really turned the team around, and all credit's gotta be given to Rob Penny. Last week, I criticized him for doing a terrible job, and this year, I think he's done a great job to turn a Crusader dynasty around, especially a lot of the die-hard fans from Christchurch. They would be really pleased to see the finish number 2 on the ladder with a home semi-final coming up as well. So it's really nice for the fans, and yeah, it is what it is. They don't even have access to some of the best players, like what's his name, Will Jordan, not available, and they're still able to build the season in a very strong finish. Again, credits to Rob Penny and his team to build the team to the spot that they are. I think one of the big improvements for the Crusaders this season, especially later half of the season, is that physicality around the breakdowns and the just the structure up front in terms of their set piece. I thought last year, especially the breakdown, the lack of commitments around the tight space, really just saw the Crusaders, backbone essentially fall apart a little bit, and as a result, they were punished last year a lot because of that. And this year, they really tightened up a lot and got themselves, with that upfront, hard work from their forwards. Some of the backs are able to execute with a lot more confidence. David Havili as well coming back. He didn't play today. I just checked just then. David Havili as well has been outstanding for the Crusaders. And Sever Reese, try scoring machine again. He actually didn't score that many tries, but he did break the try scoring record this year. In total, I think he's ahead of Israel Folau now. And yeah, overall, I think the Crusaders fans were pretty happy with the semi-final finish. And for the Brumbies, I thought this year was really, really good. They much better than last year, much more entertaining. The players backed themselves a lot more in terms of their, in terms of going for the tries and not just milking 3 points, which I'm really happy. I think that was the biggest problem for the Brumbies for so many years since Dan McKellar took over, and it carried on. It took a while for the Stephen Larkham to try to get that mentality out of the system, and it's finally good to see that the Brumby has taken that out of the system and starting to play. I think Tom Wright, probably the player of the year for me. He was so outstanding every year, every game, not just as a fullback, but he fulfilled a really, really crucial role for the Brumbies as a second playmaker, identifying space, finding those space himself, and taking on the gang line, creating space for his wingers, for his outside centers, and in fact, taking on a lot of that workload from Lolosio as well as a playmaker in important times. Just really, really important, really crucial. The support that it provides for the Brumbies team was just outstanding this year. I think that Tom Wright probably, definitely my best player. Maybe one of the, probably the best player in Super Rugby in Australian side overall. For a back and forwards, I think maybe Tizano could be the best forward. But yeah, Tom Wright was once again outstanding, especially when Lolosio was injured. Tom Wright just really made the Brumbies look seamless. There's no absolutely, you didn't even notice that the fly hub was missing, and it just shows you how good he actually is on the field. Lanky Tail as well, outstanding, scoring another try tonight with some really good running from great hands from the Brumbies overall. I think that the big thing for the Brumbies is that their structure, their form has been outstanding this season, and they built on that throughout the season and backed themselves with confidence, which is something that I really like to see. But unfortunately, not finishing in the top 2 and just a little bit of decision making problems at the end, I think. But it is a problem, I think, for a lot of Super Rugby teams, and especially the Australian side, not really understanding how to manage the clock correctly you got to play tough games sometimes. You just and sometimes you make the right decision, you don't win the game, and you could have gone back and said, oh, if we take in the 3, but if you take in the 3, the opposition could have scored 7 points right back at you, right, and you would have still lost the game. It doesn't mean you're going to win the game if you had taken the 3 should you not score, and because of should you not score and not taking the 3 point, that does not necessarily guarantee you're going to win the game. So it is something that people really don't understand. It's a lot of the media don't understand this, and they talk a lot about, oh, if you had taken the 3, you could have won the game. No, you would not have won the game if you're taking the 3, because the opposition would have scored more points against you if you're taking the 3. So that's just the way it is. And let's talk about the match stats of the game. 364 run meters for the Brumbies to the 528 for the Crusaders. 12 turnovers conceded for the Brumbies, 14 for the Crusaders. 160 tackles made for the Brumbies, 32 missed tackles, 176 tackles made for the Crusaders, 20 missed tackles for the Crusaders, 31 kicks in play for the Brumbies, 21 kicks in play for the Crusaders, 2 missed goals. So right at the end there as well, when the Crusaders could have taken the 4-point lead from the try they scored, I was surprised James O'Connor didn't take the kick, because O'Connor would have probably got that. Rayhana is pretty not that bad of a goal kicker, but I thought surely O'Connor would have been a slightly better kick there, maybe because he was on the right hand side and O'Connor is left-footed. I'm pretty sure O'Connor is not. Is O'Connor left-footed? I think he's left-footed, right? Maybe that's the reason why they didn't get him to take the kick. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was really, really surprising that I didn't take the kick. There was one drop goal by Save Reese, the man that can do everything. 1,057 kicks from hand and 925 for the Crusaders kick meters. There was no line-outs loss for the Brumbies, 1 loss for the Crusaders out of 18. No scrum loss for either teams. I thought it was okay, the scrums. I thought the Crusaders probably had a bit of advantage there, but it was a pretty good battle all around there. Penalties conceded. This is probably where the Brumbies probably hurt themselves a little bit. 9 conceded, and Crusaders stayed well disciplined with only 5 penalties conceded overall. I just want to point out, right? I think it's how I spell his name. Wait. Oh, I can just find his name here. Is it just me? Or this guy looks like Sonny Bill Williams. Like when Sonny Bill was really young.
Like, is it just me? Like, okay. Even their girlfriends kind of look similar. But anyway, even their girlfriends look kind of similar. Anyway, but I thought, yeah, especially a young Sonny Bill, right? Like that, they just look so much alike. You know, especially the young Sonny Bill, right? Like the resemblance is really there. Right? Is it just me? Like, I can't even. Is it just me? Like, they really do. Anyway, I just thought, he looked just like Sonny when he was young. Oh my goodness, look at that. They're probably related or something. Anyway, let me know your thoughts if you think they look alike. But my goodness, they look very similar. Very similar. Anyway, let's do a quick recap before this video goes out to like 200 hours. Yeah, let's quickly recap the game. Not really too much to say. 2 minutes into the game, the Brumbies actually get the first try on the ball. There was a knockoff on the kickoff from Ray Hunter. There was a scrum, and the Brumbies just parred into the short side. Some good carries, got pretty close to the try line. Then eventually, Totuaki, the big prop, goes in for the try. Futuaki, the big prop, goes in for the try. 7 points to nil. 7 minutes into the game, there was a penalty for the Crusaders. 5 minutes short, they took a quick tap and just lost a crash ball. And Leah Willie rammed himself over with Scooty Barrett behind him for the try. 7 points apiece. 10 minutes into the game, Crusaders taking a easy 3 points. Not 10 minutes, it's about 7 minutes in the game, taking easy 3 points. Is it 10? Oh, no, yeah, 10 minutes, 3 points. 10 points to 7. 12 minutes into the game, there was a no more big carries from the Crusaders after a 22-meter line-out, and then they got rid just big forwards, muscling up, rolling their sleeves, and eventually Ethan Blackadder crash over, 17 points to 15. 16 minutes in the game, there was some really magic hands from the Brumbies. I think this was from Valentini, just lightning quick hands with the defender right in front of him to Leng Ikitau, short ball, went straight through a gap, try time, 14 points to 15. 25 minutes into the game, there was a 25 minutes of the game, there was a few soft tackles from the Brumbies. I think there was, there was a more, and then the ball kind of came out for the Crusaders, and then it was Ray Hana 1-on-1 against Toole, and Corey Toole completely missed the tackle. 14 points to 12. The Crusaders gets themselves ahead. 37 minutes into the game, Save Reese taking drop goal, 14 points to 25 for the Crusaders going into half time. Second half, 49 minutes into the game, the Brumbies gets themselves on the board for the first. The Crusaders actually had an early penalty there. They kick another one. Did they kick another penalty there? Or was it before the penalty? Anyway, 49 minutes in the game, there was again Brumbies building a lot of pressure. The Crusaders looking at losing a little bit of steam at this point. The Brumbies, lots of pick and go. Eventually, Van Neck goes in for the try. 21 points to 25. 55 minutes into the game, the Brumbies, again, building a lot of pressure. There was a nice little scoop pass off the ground from one of the Brumbies players. There was like a missed pass and kind of like caught it whilst like diving for it and then flicked the ball up. Tom Wright got the ball and just once again looking up, seeing where the space is, taking on the space himself, linking up with Corey Toole and Andy Muirhead, both players passing between each other. And eventually Muirhead goes in for the try with some work, carrying a couple players on his back as well for this one. 28 points to 25. The Brumbies get ahead. 72 minutes of the game, the Brumbies had an opportunity to go for the try. I've already talked about this. They basically went for the penalty. I thought this was pretty good. And then, sorry, they went for the line out. I thought it was pretty good. And then immediately after another penalty was given, they taken the 3, and then leaving the Crusaders with plenty of time to work with. And basically from the kickoff, there was a penalty. It looked like there was knock on, but the Crusaders backed themselves for the line out. Immediately scores with Bell crashing through, and 31 points to 33. And then they didn't, Rayhana missed the kick and didn't let O'Connor kick for some reason. And then Brumbies came out from the kickoff, couldn't get a penalty, get a turnover, got turned over. And then Crusaders finished off second on the ladder, 33 points to 31. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more reviews. Cheers.